Today we will discuss the basic block diagram reduction rules. Okay. Now this basic block diagram, here you see it. This is G1 H1. This G1 and H1 are in feedback loop. RS CS. Okay. So this is basically the block G1 H1 RS and CS. Now to eliminate this feedback, we use the formula direct CS by RS. CS by RS equals to G1 upon 1 plus minus G1 H1. That is the transfer function. G1 upon 1 plus minus G1 H1 transfer function. Next rule is when the two blocks are in series, G1 and G2, these two blocks are in series. So it will be written as what? The block will be multiplied, G1 multiplied by G2. Similarly, if the blocks are in parallel, G1, G2, G3, these three blocks are in parallel. Okay, these three blocks are in parallel. Then in parallel, what is happening? We are adding it. The final outcome is what? Final outcome is G1 plus G2 plus G3. G1 plus G2 plus G3 when the blocks are in parallel. Similarly, if the blocks are in this direction like this, for example, G1, G2, and this is a takeoff point. And this is G3. G1, G2. This is a takeoff point and G3. Okay, G1, G2, and this is takeoff point G3. Then this will be multiplied, G1 multiplied by G2, G1 multiplied by G2, and this will remain as it is G3 because here in between there is a takeoff point. Are you getting it? So these are the basically the three important rules. One is the feedback eliminating loop, G1 upon 1 plus minus G1 H1, series law, parallel law, and eliminating the takeoff point. Now another rule is like this. Next rule, this is a very important rule. Here this is a summing amplifier. Okay, this is a summing amplifier. We are shifting this summing amplifier before a block. When we shift this summing amplifier before a block, then this we have shifted here. We have shifted here. Therefore we need to multiply this by 1 by G. This X point is there. X is a signal. So this X signal is multiplied by 1 by G. This X signal is multiplied by 1 by G. When we shift the summing point before a block. Okay. Now next is we are shifting the summing point after a block. When we shift the summing point after a block, then there is no need to multiply this with X. It will be directly G. This G will remain as it is G. Okay, but this point we shifted to here. This is this shifting point, and this X is multiplied by G. So when we shift after a block, it will be multiplied by G. When we shift before a block, it is multiplied by 1 by G. Are you getting it? Now today we will discuss an example of transfer function. Take example. So this is the example. Suppose this is the diagram G1, G2. Okay, these are the two blocks, and this is simple example we are taking H1. Okay, this is the simple block. This is suppose G3. Okay, and this way we are CS, and here it is RS. Okay, this is the diagram G1, G2, G3, H1. Okay, now how to solve this diagram? That is very important. For solving this diagram, first we need to apply various rules. The first rule is series rule. So this G1 and G2 are in series. Okay, G1 and G2 are in series. Therefore the diagram will be converted like this. Same summing point, this will be converted into G1 multiplied by G2. Okay, G1 multiplied by G2. Here it will be H1 as it is. Okay, afterwards we will eliminate it, and then it will be G3. Okay, this RS, and this is C of S. Okay, are you getting it? This is the 2. Next is, now we will eliminate this loop. जो ऑरेंज सर्कल से मैं सर्कल कर रहा हूँ, G1, G2, H1. दिस इज अ फीडबैक लूप बिकॉज G3 कैनॉट बी सॉल्व अनलेस until we do the conversion of this section G1, G2, H1. ओके, तो इसको हम सॉल्व करेंगे. we will solve it. The formula, what will be the formula for this? G upon 1 plus minus G of H. This formula we will use. This is the formula, G upon 1 plus minus G of H. So G is what? G1 G2 divided by 1, mostly will take plus sign only, G1 G2 H1. ठीक है, तो G upon 1 plus G1, G and H, this is H and this is G, G1 G2 is G, G1 G2 is G and this is H. So for what will be the answer? G1 G2 1 plus G1 G2 H1. Okay, because feedback is H1. Okay, so this is the block. So now again the diagram will be converted like this. This is the diagram and the block will be written as like this, G1 G2 upon 1 plus G1 G2 H1, and here it is G3. Okay, there will be no loop, this loop will be cancelled out. Okay, RS and CS. Now these two is block are in series, these two blocks are in series, so it will become what? G1 G2 G3 upon 1 plus G1 G2 H1, final one block. Okay, having input R of S and output C of S. Okay, the first we have solved this series law that will convert G1 into G2, H1 as it is G3. Then we have rectified this G1 G2 H1 by formula G upon 1 plus minus GH, that is G1 G2 1 plus G1 G2 H1. Okay, and this block we have written here, this G1 G2 1 plus G1 G2 H1 G3. These two blocks are in series. So G1 G2 G3 1 plus G1 G2 H1 will be the final answer. This is where we will solve the numerical. Okay, this was simple example.